Hi, Eric Gibaud, ericgibaud.com, and today we're going to speak about one thing that many people don't seem to have really clear, or they often ask me, is how much money does it cost to do or to make photography? So let's start. So how did I realize that many people are completely lost? They have no idea about the cost of gear, and I receive messages, and this is how I could read it, messages or emails or comments on YouTube channel, and when you look at the question they ask, you just stay like this. So I'm going to make a parallel if I was buying a car or a vehicle, okay? So the message would be something like this. Hi, Mr. Car Salesman. I would like a car or vehicle that I could transport from 1 to 50 people, and if possible it could go on a Formula 1 circuit, and also through the Sahara Desert, and if possible big enough to well, when my family or friends they change houses, to help them with that, and also if possible if it could go underwater and sometimes jump in the air, and yeah, really high in the air. Okay, so what vehicle do you advise I would buy? Let's center ourselves on what you could need and what I could recommend. Okay, so how much it costs. Okay, let's carry on. Oh, by the way, if you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Small button down here, so small bell. When you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. So let's continue. Let's give the example of the car. Okay, when you're a new driver, you just got your driving license, the external cost of the car, if you go and buy a car, is more important than if you have a lot of experience. I speak about the insurance. If you've been driving for 20 years, you probably pay less insurance than if you're a new driver. Okay, that's the way it works. In photography, that's the same thing. If it's your first or second camera, well, probably you don't have much accessories you can use with it, so you will have to think about buying more accessories. If you've been making pictures for many years, you probably have already some accessories and things we're going to see now that you already have and you can use with your new camera. It means that, as you can see, when you think about buying a camera, you cannot just think about the camera. There are more things to take into account to know exactly how much money you need. Okay, I would say when you start, the gear you need could be split in 3 parts or in 4 parts. So if we speak about 3, like camera body, then lenses, then something to manage the picture you're going to make. If we speak about digital photography, like a computer or tablet or smartphone, but you need something to manage this picture, whether you want to edit them or not, you still need to manage them, okay? And then some accessories that some are optional, some are compulsory, really. So maybe you put a 4th part, or you include it with the 3rd one, depends, but like a camera bag, a tripod, some filters, a flash, some extra batteries, memory cards, things like this. So as you can see, it's impossible to think you get a camera and that's it. You must calculate how much you need for the rest, because you need to know how much money you actually need to be able to make photography. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you 4 mistakes many people make. Okay, the first one is they want a tool to make everything, any kind of pictures, any situation. This is just not possible, okay? Well, you could use a bridge camera that gives you many options, from far to close to macro, all this, but then you have to make some kind of sacrifice. Optical quality, probably, image quality, maybe in low light, probably. Also, maybe it's not weather sealed, all this. So it's anyway, you will not be able to do anything anywhere anytime. Okay, it sounds like Martini. Okay, but yeah, that's a problem. Okay, so this is maybe an option, but you must know the sacrifice. But most people who ask me about what camera to buy and what they want to do is very often because they want to have the possibility to change lenses. They call it professional camera. And when it's a big mistake, professional is the user, it's not the camera. There are some professional photographers that use cameras thought for amateur, and the amateur that use cameras thought for professional, and regardless of the the quality of the pictures they make. You have really good top level amateur photographers and some professional photographers that are not that good, okay? So it's relevant, this part, okay? But this is what people ask, okay? So it's really important, you understand, from the second you want to be able to change lenses, there is no universal tool, and the more you want to do, the more money you're going to need, and you're going to get ruined in the game. So if you want from day one to have everything, well, that's going to be a lot of money, okay? Second mistake, many people make a massive confusion between I want to learn photography and I want to make pictures. Obviously, when you learn photography, you do make pictures, but the attitude is really different. If you want to make pictures and pictures and pictures, you want probably to make pictures of anything in any situation, okay? That means many tools and a lot of money. But if your idea is to learn photography, you don't have to spend that much money. Entry-level camera with the right tools like aperture, speed, ISO, and be able to control a flash unit will be more than enough to learn photography. So obviously you will have to sacrifice that. You cannot make any photography with this. You can make some photographies, and not if your lens gets up to 10 meters to have a close-up, well, you cannot point at a small bird at 500 meters. That's simple, okay? But you in a phase of learning photography, okay? If your idea is to make pictures of anything at any time, then prepare your money, because you're going to need a lot of gear and expensive in total, okay? Maybe not each, you can find some maybe cheap, but the whole lot is going to be a lot of money. So be clear, if your idea is to learn photography, you don't need to spend much money. If your idea is to be prepared for, to have gear, prepare yourself, but mainly gear for any situation, this is going to be a lot of money, okay? Third mistake, many people do not understand what you can do with this tool or that tool and what they are for. And they cannot understand also, they don't realize that you have to estimate what tool you need for what you want to do. For each task, you must know what tool you will need. So it's important to define this. And some people don't seem to understand that you don't make picture with such tool, that's not for it. And if you want to do such thing, you need such tool. So it's really important to understand that, okay? And the fourth mistake, so many people underestimate the amount of money they actually need to do photography, okay, to start doing photography. So very often they manage wrong the budget, and they buy things they don't need. They buy other things that would have been that no good, but they could have bought for the same amount of money something better, and they're a bit lost. So they have to think about all this. Don't make these mistakes. Try to think about all this to fine-tune your money for what you need, okay? Very often I receive messages from people who've just bought a camera. They've plugged in the camera, the battery, and they made a few pictures, and the next day they send me an email saying, Eric, what is the next lens I should buy? My answer is really simple, none. You don't have to buy any. Let's speak about Cartier-Bresson, the photographer. He made most of his career with about 2 or 3 cameras, maybe 1 or 2 lenses, his whole life. And you just got your camera yesterday and you are already asking what is the next lens you should buy. It means you are not ready. You are not ready, you don't know about photography, you have not learned anything, and you already want to put extra tool, you don't dominate what you have and you already want to complicate it? No. First, you must spend time using the camera. And this is when you see that the camera is putting some limits on you, then it will be time to get extra gear. Right now, you are the limit of this camera. The camera is not the limit of you, okay? So some people tell me, yes, no, that's not true, because yesterday I went to the woods and there was a small bird that was 500 meters away. I wanted to frame closely and I could not do it, so I'm limited by the camera. I mean, cut this, please cut that, okay? Why? Because this is not a limit. The small bird is not going to die if you don't make a picture of it, okay? First, spend some time learning about your gear, about photography, and then when you're ready, you will know what gear you actually need to complete what you have, okay? That's really important. So sometimes people, they contact me a week later, say, okay, now I've seen everything. Okay, what is the next lens? Come on, 1 week is nothing. It should be at least a month, probably 2 or 3, maybe a year or more. Until you don't know your gear and you really don't dominate how to expose, how to frame, how to compose, all this, don't spend more money on lenses, okay? That's really important because you're buying wrong things or things you don't need, or you create some needs you don't actually have, okay? So be serious. Don't rush putting extra gear to your basic kit, okay? Before buying an extra lens, there are more priority extras you could buy before, like a good camera bag, or whether it's a backpack or side bag, whatever, to protect your camera when you carry it. Probably a tripod, because it will give you more possibilities to do different things. A tripod, not immediately, but soon you will probably want or need a tripod, maybe some filters, probably a flash unit, external flash, I mean, not the flash you already have integrated in your camera if there is one. Why? Because using a flash needs knowledge, so you will use it and learn how to use it. A lens, you could rent a lens, or someone could lend you a lens, and you don't need to learn anything special, just adapt yourself to the lens, but that's it, okay? But using a flash needs some knowledge and learning things, so it's more logical to get a flash before an extra lens and practice with it, learn how to use it. I don't say tomorrow, I say earlier than buying an extra lens, okay? And then some extra batteries and extra memory card. I see some people, they buy an extra lens, but they don't have enough battery to be the full day making pictures. So buy before an extra lens, buy an extra battery, extra memory card. So these are extras, yes, that have more priority than extra lenses and things like this, okay? So don't forget this. You must not forget that you need money for that too, okay? When you want to buy your first or your second camera, very often we all want to have a new camera, to be the first person to touch this camera. And this is logical. Maybe you don't have the budget to have a mid-level or high-level camera, so you're going to get an entry level. Well, honestly, if you have the money for a mid-level or high-level, go for it, buy it. If you have the money, buy it, okay? But if you don't have the money for that, check secondhand, because there are many opportunities, great opportunities, and very often you will have a better camera in secondhand, mid-range or high range than if you get on entry level, okay? If you get entry level, very often the inside is really similar to the higher level, but they've limited it electronically. And soon you will think, yeah, I want to change the camera, I'm not convinced, it's on entry level, all this, and you will end up buying 2 cameras really fast, okay? So think about this. If you don't have the money to buy new mid-level, get it second-hand, okay? This is money you save, and for more years, okay? It's really important. I'll leave you a video I made here that explains what you should be careful when buying second-hand, okay? When I speak about second-hand, very often people say, but yeah, but maybe I'm going to buy something that is obsolete. Okay, well, this is really important not to confuse obsolete with something you cannot get more gear with it, more accessories, or get a larger kit or add things, okay? If I could make this picture, a picture of this graffiti here, like 20 years ago with the camera I had then, obviously that camera can still make the same picture. So in this sense, this is not obsolete gear. If we made pictures of the Olympic Games 50 years ago, with the camera we had then, we can still make the same picture today. Obviously, new technology makes things easier, maybe faster autofocus. Instead of making 3 pictures, you get one that is fine from the first shoot, you get it. It's probably harder with older gear, but you can still make the picture with no problem, okay? But if we speak about gear that you cannot add new things, this is where the problem is. Let's say the Nikon J, for example, they don't make it anymore. So if you buy it secondhand and you want extra lenses, it's hard to find. You will have to buy secondhand. Maybe you cannot find them, or they don't have it the right price and you're blocked, or a Sony A mount, a Minolta mount. They still make the cameras, they still make the lenses, but they don't take care of it. Sony is not looking after it. They don't issue new things. So sooner or later, it's going to be completely stopped officially. It's not official, but it will be stopped officially. I would not buy that. Or if we speak about 4/3, no micro 4/3. I speak about 4/3. Olympus and Lumix had reflex camera with 4/3 sensor. They don't make them anymore because they started with micro 4/3 then, okay? So it means that you can find some nice cameras, 4/3 cameras, second-hand lenses. These lenses, you can use them on micro 4/3, but they're only second-hand. So if you actually, you can use them with an adapter, okay? But it means that if you buy a 4/3 camera second-hand, you will have to buy extra lenses on second-hand market. Maybe you don't find the lens you want and maybe not at the price you want. So I would not buy 4/3, only micro 4/3, okay? Same thing with Samsung camera. They had fantastic cameras, and from one day to the other, they stopped making these cameras. Same thing, if you buy one, even if it's perfect, if it works fine, all this, tomorrow you need an extra lens and you will not find it, or you will have to accept what the seller wants to sell it to you, okay? So really, I would avoid this, okay? So the big question is mirrorless or reflex? Well, we know that Nikon and Canon have announced they will not do reflex anymore. Just Pentax keeps making reflex cameras. So you could think that maybe reflex is not the good choice. But in the case of Canon and Nikon, the market is so massive, the second-hand market is so massive, there's so many lenses, accessories for it, that I would not worry too much for many years, okay? Even you can still buy from stock some reflex lenses, new, so it's not really a problem, okay? So, but yeah, with time, you will not find a new reflex lens. That's simple. They will stop making them. I don't know if they stopped already, but there's still some in stock. But yes, you must know that, okay? But I would not be too worried to buy a reflex camera if it's Canon or Nikon, okay? But still, you need to know that. Now let's get to the computer you need, okay? If it's your first camera, maybe you don't know if the computer or the tablet you have is okay for that. Okay, so well, that's easy. You go to a website like DP Review. There you can download raw files from the camera you would buy. Okay, so you check all this, you download them, install a Lightroom or any software you want, and see if your computer can cope with it, if you can manage it, if it's too slow or whatever. If it's fine, that's okay. Your computer is fine, your tablet is fine. If it's too slow, if it simply doesn't work, then you must think about buying a new computer and estimate what power you need, all this, get some information to know what to buy, okay? And even if it's not your first camera, maybe you're just changing cameras. And like in my case, I manage files like Olympus files, 20 million pixels, then Fujifilm 26 million, and then my Hasselblad digital back, that is 50 million pixel, okay? Well, obviously with the 20 million, my computer goes a lot faster than with 50 million, so maybe I have to think about changing computers. And maybe you change cameras, you're happy with the new camera, but you just forget that your computer cannot cope with it, okay? So it's really important that you think that aside of the camera, you must get some serious gear to process it, okay? But not just to process, also to stock. You need a backup. Every day, millions of pictures just are erased from the earth, okay? The face of the earth, basically because there is an electronic problem, okay? So you need to have a backup, extra hard drive, so you must stock them in a different place, maybe your mother-in-law, maybe, or wherever, okay? But it's important, so you must calculate all this extra you're going to need for managing the file and estimate it before buying the new camera or buying your first camera, because this is a cost that must be included, okay? I would say the last piece of advice is to plan your spendings, okay? Maybe next week you're going on vacation, traveling, and you say, oh, maybe that would be great to have a wide-angle lens, and then you realize that or you buy the wide-angle or you go on vacation. You cannot do both, okay? So obviously this is stupid, okay? But if you could have planned that, well, for such date I will go there and maybe I would like to have that kind of extra gear or whatever, then you're ready. You've planned, maybe you have a lot of money, it's not really a problem for you to do last minute, but not everyone can, okay? And you know, the first thing, extra things you need to buy is probably extra memory card, extra battery, but maybe it's included in the kit you bought. When I say kit, I would say the kit for you, it could be a kit that is all included, like a kit lens and the body, but maybe you bought just the body and the lens you wanted. It doesn't have to be a kit lens, okay? But for you, this is your first kit, okay? So plan what you're going to need to buy. Maybe it's not even a money problem. Maybe it's because there are it's hard to get such or such lens, for example, or flash unit or whatever. So maybe you not need to plan in advance to order it and to get it in time for what you want to do. Okay, so it's important. The better you plan your spending, the less money you're going to spend, and probably the better you're going to spend it. There's nothing worse than buying a lens you don't even need. You need just one day. If you had planned, you would realize you can do without, okay, and have it on a shelf, bored because you don't actually use it, okay? Even if you have a lot of money, someone who loves photography doesn't like to see his gear not being used, okay? So plan your spendings, okay? So Eric, tell me how much money then? Okay, well, I think that there is a rule of thumb. I would say in the first year you will spend 2 or 3 times the kit you spent, okay? Extra lenses, accessories, maybe battery, computer, all this. So it means that some people will spend just that and they already have the rest, okay? But if your first camera and you're not really equipped for it, you probably spend 2 or 3 times the price of the kit, okay? Obviously, if you buy high-end camera, you will spend a lot more money. It will be proportional also, because if you get a high-end camera, you probably buy high-end lenses or better flashes or better this or better that, okay? Don't forget, it's like the car. When you have just a car, you have to add the insurance, you have to add probably changing tires once in the year, or maybe every 2 years, maybe oil, okay? So maintenance, so it will not be just the car, okay? So this is the same thing. Don't forget, you will spend 2 to 3 times what you spend probably. If you buy secondhand, maybe 1.5, okay? But take into account you need some extra cash during the first year and probably after, but let's speak about the first year, okay? So that's it. I hope this video helps you to estimate your budget, how much you need, because this is the best way to have the right year. If you cannot afford to have everything at the start, don't get sour, don't worry. There is always something that can fit your budget. I prefer to buy a second-hand camera that cost me 20 euros, even if it's really basic, really old, and still make pictures and learn photography, than to be like in my corner, like crying because I cannot afford anything, okay? There is always something you can afford, okay? So obviously if you have the money to have directly the gear you would love, well, that's fantastic, okay? But if you don't have it, don't worry, there is something for you, okay? So I hope this video has helped you estimate how much money you need and plan how to spend it, okay? So thank you so much for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Small button down here is a small bell. If you click on the bell, get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Also leave you links of my gear on Amazon, links of everything I reviewed by K&F Concept, Sandmark, and Flashes by Westcott, and also a link to my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.